On the show, in Wheelspin, we drive the Mercedes-Benz C63S-AMG. In Face to Face, we bid adieu to the outgoing MD of Mercedes-Benz, Eberhard Kern. Quicker presents the quicker car guy. And on the road, we drive the Fiat Linea to Nimrana. What I have with me today is the world's largest selling Mercedes-Benz with the AMG badging on it, and it has been just voted as the World Car of the Year 2015. The AMG C63, and one look at this and you know why this car is so popular. This is compact enough to be driven on an everyday basis, packs in all the frills that you associate with Mercedes-Benz brand, and of course, it reeks of performance. And the good news is that Mercedes just launched this car in India this month. In fact, this is the 10th car they have launched in India with the AMG badging on it. So if you like a car with a dose of performance in it, then chances are you're going to like this one. Time to get in behind the wheel. I think the main reason why this car was built was to put a big smile on anyone's face who happened to step on the gas pedal. The V8 4-litre bi-turbo unit is relentless as far as power delivery is concerned. Belts out 510 brake horsepower as peak power and 700 Newton meters of torque, which really gives you a very exhilarating drive experience. In fact, when you look at the car from outside, you don't realize that she packs in this much power. It's like a 5 feet 6 inch Rambo going around dressed in a corporate suit. Doesn't make you realize the amount of power and the muscle the suit hides. And this is like this, all very civilized, but make no mistake, she is a car with performance written all over it. This is the C63S that we drive, but it is also offered without the S tag, which means that it's a tad less meaner than this one. Instead of the 510 brake horsepower the S delivers as peak power, the regular C63 manages only 476 bhp and 50 Newton meters of torque less than this one. But Mercedes will only offer the top of the line S63S in India. And why not? After all, if you are going for flat out performance, then there is hardly any reason to cut down on it. This is one engine which doesn't seem to have heard of the word called turbo lag. The power delivery is extremely linear, and she's made it to a 7-speed MCT or the multi-clutch transmission, which does a great job of shifting the gears. And you of course have paddle shifts here for the quicker gear changes. In fact, the car comes with 4 drive modes. The regular one, which you use for city driving, then you have the Sport Plus, and of course the race mode. The race is of course meant for a racetrack, and if you do happen to find yourself on a racetrack with a car like this, I can tell you that's going to be fun for you, as we had some fun last year when we drove the car on a racetrack. And in fact, it's only on the racetrack that you will find out the full potential of this car. The steering is speed sensitive, which again adds to the pleasure of driving, as it manages to give plenty of feedback, and as to be expected, the brakes too are composite ceramic, which means that they do a very good job of stopping a car as fast as this. In terms of safety, the C63S comes with 7 airbags and ABS, EBD, 3-stage EPS, lane assist for active safety. The ride, as you can expect in a performance car, is hard. The suspension is set up on the stiffer side, and if you find yourself on a bad patch of road, even a small aberration will loom into the cabin like a big crater and jar you. In fact, the ride can be bone jarring if you do happen to find yourself on a bad stretch of road, and if you have to park yourself in the car, the best place would be the driver's seat. I don't think this car was made for ride comfort, and if you do happen to be in the back seat, chances are you're not going to enjoy the ride. But if you are in the driver's seat, I can bet you, you are surely going to love the drive. When you step inside the car here, the first thing you realize that this is the meeting point of luxury with performance. Everything here is of course very well crafted, very aesthetically done, and very nice to look at, and it's truly a Mercedes interior. In fact, many things remind you that this is typically Mercedes layout in the fascia, but then you also have to notice the red seat belts here, the red chrome surrounds on the instrumentation here, which all tell you that it's performance. And to add to that, you also have a carbon fiber fascia here, a small steering wheel which is of course leather wrapped. The luxury element is also amply present. Look at the seats here, nice quality Napa leather which is of course hand stitched, ventilated, and then there are plenty of features in here which of course suggests a hint of practicality. To begin with, this is a 4-seater with 4 doors, and there is in fact plenty of space in the back seat to enable you to carry passengers, unlike a true performance or a sports car. And then you have the nice display here in the fascia which gives you the sat nav, a nice sounding Burmester sound system, plus panoramic sunroof. All this really adds a nice touch. It's a combination of luxury, performance and practicality, and overall it makes this a car you can actually live with on an everyday basis. A very practical car indeed. The C63S will be available on Mercedes Designer platform, which means that a high level of customization is further possible. You can choose the color, material and finish of the interiors, ranging from carbon fiber to matte silver to the design of the alloy wheels. The C63 here is a good-looking car any which way you look at it, and she packs in oodles of performance plus has all the features that you associate with brand Mercedes. But the only reason why I can't buy this car is because of the price. She costs a hopping rupees 1.3 crores. The reason for this high price is that Mercedes imports this car as a CB or a completely built-up unit and is taxed at over 100%. But if you have the money, the desire to flaunt fast and good-looking cars, which also doubles up as your everyday workhorse, then this is the car for you. Mercedes-Benz India made huge strides into the Indian market last year with a slew of launches, new dealerships and of course motorsports and CSR activities. Thanks mainly to the initiative of one man, Eberhard, the outgoing managing director of the company. Eberhard joined the company in 2012, and at that time it was a challenging proposition, with the other German rivals gaining on Mercedes. Audi, with a long list of refreshed products, was eyeing the #1 slot, while BMW took the fight to the customers with open price war. But the new MD of Mercedes-Benz had a different game plan. His first year in office, 2013, was dubbed as the year of the offensive. The focus was on growing the network, creating customer connect and of course introducing new products which were young and dynamic and helped the brand create an impact with the young buyers. From 50 sales and service outlets in 2012, it counts up to 80 outlets in 2015, an impressive figure for a luxury car maker. Then came the product onslaught with the launch of completely new products which proved to be game changers. The new E-Class, the new C, the new S, and then in the year 2015 alone, 15 new products were launched, and most of them the top-of-the-line AMG products to build on the brand. The largest ever launched by Mercedes in India.
It's truly amazing. And friends, as I move on, I would like, of course, not only to say thank you for what happened over the last 3 years, I would always, as well like to introduce you to a colleague of mine, actually to my successor. It's Mr. Roland Folger. He is taking over the charge here in India.
As Eberhard Kern leaves the company in the safe hands of his successor, Roland Folger, the new MD, it's time for Mercedes to consolidate and grow what Kern helped them achieve in such a short time.
Ekta grower from Chennai sends in a query. Her parents live in Chandigarh and would like to sell their used Volkswagen Polo but are finding it difficult to go through the various online options in English. Ekta, just for people who are finding it difficult to navigate in English, Quicker Cars has the option of choosing different Indian languages on their app or on their website. All your parents have to do is to go to Quicker Cars, choose their preferred language, enter the details of their car, upload its pictures and post a free ad to sell their car. Interested buyers have the option of chatting with them online, and your parents can sell their used car to the prospective buyer easily via Quicker Cars.
One of the biggest advantages of living in a place like Delhi is that you're never short of a weekend getaway. Be it the mountains or the hills or even the deserts of Rajasthan, there's always something to go to and which is easily accessible, at least by road. And that's where I am headed to, a place which sits on the border of Rajasthan. A place known for its natural beauty, a place known for quiet and tranquility, and a place also known for a fort which has been turned into a luxury resort. Yes, I'm talking about Neemrana. And to take me there, I have a car which is comfortable, reliable, and looks quite capable of doing the job, the Fiat Linea. Time for me to get in behind the wheel. Once you get inside the Linea here, you soon realize that this is quite an easy car to like. What really impresses me is the fact that this is one spacious, roomy cabin. There's plenty of space to move around, and the seats here are quite comfortable and big, which should come in handy on a long drive. Plus, the fascia is quite aesthetically made, dual-toned beige and black, with a touch of piano black on the center console. And the sound system here comes with 3 options. You can play the FM, the MP3, and also the CD, which isn't very common in cars of today. I'm a little old-fashioned, so I like the music coming from the CD. I think I'm going to use this sound system quite a bit on this trip. Time for me to roll now. It's only after you slide in behind the wheel of this Fiat Linea that you realize how well she drives. What I drive is the 1.4-litre T-Jet engine, and it churns out enough power for easy cruising on the highway. And the best part about the car is the ride quality. She really stays planted even at highway speeds, and it's a very comfortable car to be driven in. It's a petrol engine, so it might lead you to think that it might be an expensive affair to drive her on the highway and take her long distance, but you'll be surprised at the fuel efficiency. In fact, according to ARI, she gives you over 15 kilometers, and that's pretty good for a car this size. I think with the space, the engine power, and all the conveniences that are in this car, this is actually the right car to go out for a long highway drive, because it combines everything: fuel efficiency, power, and of course space. I think the Linea is a really nice companion for a long highway trip. Long before you get into the deep bowels of the interior Rajasthan, where sand replaces the soft earth, the landscape gradually begins to change from the soft green of northern India into the harsher brown of the desert. Neemrana is 122 kilometers from Delhi, which means approximately 3 hours drive, depending however on the mercies of traffic. And as you exit NH8 and take the road to Neemrana, you are greeted by narrow roads and a feel of rural India. But fear not, because something majestic awaits you. Finally, me and my linear both make it to Neemrana, and the first stop obviously is the Fort Palace, the main attraction here. Time to explore. This is the 16th century hill fort built by the descendants of the legendary Prithviraj Chauhan, who continued to occupy the fort till 1947. Then the fort fell into a disarray, and it was only in 1986 that it was acquired to build a heritage hotel. And this is where we are. Forts are supposed to give you a commanding view of the landscape, and if this is the guiding principle of building a fort, then I must say the Neemrana fort here fits the bill perfectly. This sits here on top of a small hill, overlooks the entire area, which is now the small town of Neemrana. And standing here, I feel like an old warrior waiting for the approaching enemy. And as and when I spot them, I think I'm going to put these cannons to good use. What you see behind me is the length of the Neemrana fort. It's not really a large fort as far as Rajasthani forts go, but it has an interesting evolutionary trend. Work started on it at the top in 1464, and the first construction was over there. But over the centuries, when the successive generations continued to build, what they did was build it down the slopes. So what you see is a long fort built along the slope. Of course, a few decades back, it became a heritage hotel, so new constructions were added to it. But the good part here is that the old and the new have blended very well. There is no jarring difference, which is unlike many other forts where new construction takes over the old one. In fact, I must say this is one of the forts which has really been kept well. Today, this fort not only offers you a commanding view, but also is a resort where you can forget your city life-induced worries and headaches and spend a few days in the lap of luxury. A place where you can actually transport yourself back to the old days of charm and easy living. The rooms here are tastefully done and exude an old-world charm, which is not easy to come by. And if you get tired of lazing around, then the swimming pool might be a good alternative. Or if you are an adventure freak, then you can stare down at the valley below suspended from a steel wire. Zipping or flying fox is what they call it, and it's supposed to give you an adrenaline rush. For me though, it's the quiet that beckons. From the outside, the Neemrana fort might look a little bit rustic and run down, but once you are inside, you are instantly transported into an oasis of calm and peace and old world charm. Of course, exactly what a heritage property should be. And if you really want to run away from that hectic, busy city life and spend a few days doing nothing, then I strongly recommend this place for you. Well, if you thought Neemrana only has the fort resort to offer you, then you are making a mistake. It's a place which offers many things which are historical in nature, like the Baudi or the deep well. But before I get there, I am forced to stop by this. Palaces and forts are supposed to contain many things which are rare and vintage. And in this category, my favorite, of course, is vintage cars. I'm told that you could get a ride here in a vintage car. But sadly, this one is not a true vintage car. But nevertheless, this looks like fun. Time for a drive. After my short ride in the replica vintage, it was time for me to get behind the wheels of my trusted Fiat Linea and head towards the Baudi. What's the best thing a good king can do for his subject in a land as parched and as arid as Rajasthan? Dig a well, of course, or as they call it here, make a Baudi. And this is exactly what the good king did here. And centuries later, as I look at this Baudi, I can tell you I really haven't seen anything as complex as this. This is supposed to be 12 stories high, and this is fed by groundwater. And it should meet the requirements of the entire village. And considering that this was built centuries ago, this looks like a complete marvel to me. Legend has it that it was authorized by the king to create not only a place for water storage to take care of the water scarcity that arises from time to time, but also to create an employment opportunity for the local folks. Whatever the truth, the fact is this is one magnificent Baudi that stands tall even today. I have to admit that I had quite a nice time in Neemrana, and if you do have a very lazy weekend on your mind and you're looking for peace and tranquility, then I think Neemrana is the right place for you. Besides, you can indulge yourself in the luxury of a 5-star resort, and the best part is that it's just a short distance, about 3 hours away from Delhi, so that saves the hassle of a long drive. And on this trip, I made another discovery. The Fiat Linea I drive is actually an ideal companion for a long weekend trip. It's got everything that you need in a car: space, engine power, and of course, great fuel efficiency.